Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 543, recorded on September 4th, 2025. On this week's Wonky Doodle episode, we talk about Atari making moves, Star Wars Outlaws giving us hope, and some great community questions. Jesse, you know what to do.
What is up, everybody? It's episode 543 of Nintendo Dads. It's September the 4th, 2025. And joining me on the show tonight, Mr. Jesse Waldack and Tim Off. How you guys doing?
We just started, and I don't know what's going on.
So it's a typical episode of Nintendo Dads.
Yeah. Tim mentioned it last week that I was having some audio glitchy issues, and I never got around to rebooting my computer. It's been pretty much on all the time. And we got on the call and he said, yeah, you're still having that issue. So I'm like, okay. So I did some quick Googling about I found out that my microphone has firmware, but I can only update it with Wavelink software, which I didn't have installed. So I had to install. So I installed it, needed to reboot, updated the firmware, and rejoined the call, and they said things sounded better. So hopefully they stay that way.
Yes.
So possible the reboot was all that was needed, but we did a few other things just in case.
Sounds great.
Now we can't hear.
Can't hear Marty. Why can't we hear Marty? What happened to Marty? I've been tired.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I was just saying he sounds great, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't hear you.
We hear you now.
Anyway, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you? It's like the old Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Anyway, Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Well, like I was saying, I've been feeling pretty tired, so it's been
That's
a
what
long
happens
week.
once you hit the 5-0.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happens when I hit the 4-0. When my body was just like, yeah, we're done here.
Yeah, so you're going to have even more fun in 5 years there.
Well, I'm at 45, and you know what that means, don't you? It's colonoscopy time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I talked about mine last year.
Yep.
It was a show topic.
I've got to make an appointment with my doctor and schedule someone to put a camera up my butt. That's going to be great.
I'll tell you what I tell other people is the prep for it is worse than the actual procedure.
My wife's had 2 of them because
so you know what to expect.
Her uncle on her mom's brother passed away of colorectal cancer. So that she had to do an early screen. So it had been 5 years since her last one. This last one, everything, they were like, you're good. You can wait 10 years again. So that's really good to hear. Hope that's what they say for me as well. But hey, we'll see. Yeah.
Good luck.
It's been a week. It's been a good week here. It's been a good week. You know what? Tennessee, it's cooling off down here a little bit.
Yeah, we're supposed to get like mid-60s tomorrow. I'm like, sweet. Shut
the
air off,
it's
open the
great.
windows
Like
up.
you can actually go outside and breathe the air and not feel like you're like swimming in the air. It's great.
Yes.
It's been a good week. We went grocery shopping. I mean, when you've reached your 40s when you get excited about that. Like we went grocery shopping and found. Did you know?
I still don't enjoy it. So.
Did you know that they make taco flavored Chex Mix?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Oh, you need to go find this. It's taco. It's called Chex Remix. It's tacos, and it's so good. It's so good. Anyway,
taking lessons from ukulele.
Yeah.
David Blucka says, "Woohoo! I'm at the colonoscopy age too."
Yep. Go get your butt checked, everybody. If you're 45. Get your colonoscopy to stay alive. And on that note, we're going to go on and just dive into the news. And our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, as well as those of you who are subscribing to us on Twitch via Twitch Prime. You get access to the Discord as well. But if you head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, for as little as $1 a month, you get access to our Discord. You get community perks, all kinds of stuff, $5, $10, $30 level. And we want to say a huge thanks to Solo, who increased his pledge this week, and Michael Anderson, who's a brand new patron of the show. And so thank you guys for hopping on over there. And also all of you who are just like, you've been on the train for a while, right? Like you've been keeping the things like you are the ones cranking the generator that keeps the electricity on at Nintendo Dad's HQ. So we're super thankful for you. So if you would like to join up with those people, get into the community. Again, we curate our community. We want to be clear about that. And it's not because we don't like social interaction, or, or anything like that. It's because, we do that to keep, literally, we do that to keep people out. All right.
Yeah,
so
that's what happens when you get a bunch of introverts together.
yeah. So like, if you are so inclined to pay $11 a year, because by the way, if you go do the yearly thing, we give you a month free. So even just for $11 a year, you get access to the community. You can participate in monthly mayhem. You can do all of that, and so it's worth it. It's very worth it. And I will just say this: I am a patron of the show. All right, I am one of those patrons. I was a patron
Yeah.
of the show way back when, before I even came on the show as a host, and I will continue to be a patron because to me it's worth the money. And so patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And even if you're not a patron of the show and you're just a listener, we have something for you over there as well. Each week we put out something called the weekly update. And that most weeks, we'll say that most weeks of the year, you get a weekly update that's got potential topics for the show. It's got all of our YouTube content for that week. It's got a list of upcoming games that we think you would like, as well as links to our shows we recommend, and all kinds of other things. And so that is absolutely free. You don't even have to be a paying member of the Patreon to do that.
Oh, when you build that list, you need to look at the live videos as well, not just what was published, because if I do a live stream, they come up in a different tab, and
That's true.
If you don't look for them, you miss them. So I did the Shantae video last week, and that wasn't in the notes.
I will make sure those get in there, Jesse. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Seriously, I don't.
I forget.
I didn't realize
there too.
that. Yeah, it's a different tab. You're right.
They used to be in the same place, but they split them in a while ago.
Making my job harder. That's what it is.
But
anyway,
YouTube's their job is to make all of our jobs harder.
Yeah. One other thing I want to mention about Patreon before we move on: if you are a patron of the show, or as we like to call you, a friend of the show, you get your own ad-free feed of the show, so you don't have to listen to any ads. You don't have to listen to our Manscaped ramblings. You don't have to listen to the stuff that pops up during the show because of those location-based ads. Nothing.
Unless Justin does like a half-ass ad, we'll keep those in.
Well, and I guess technically this is an ad too, right? But
anyway. I think the last 2 weeks he did something that wasn't a really ad, but was still kind of funny. So we chose to keep it in.
Yeah, we'll just let it slide. But okay. So you get a most weeks weekly update for free. You get a mostly ad-free feed of the show most of the time. So
it'll say ad-free-ish if it's if it's kind of like
sometimes you just need to hear an ad. So anyway, patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Why are you not already there? Why, if you're listening and you're not a patron of the show, why are you not already there? Go be our friend over there. We'd love to have you in the Discord. All right, let's talk news. You know what, guys? Honestly, there's nothing to talk about this week, and here's why. Because there's this little game that came out called Silksong, and it literally moved heaven and earth in the gaming industry, and everybody moved away from this, except for Ubisoft, who was like, you know what, screw it, we're going to release Star Wars Outlaws anyway. And there's some other games that came out too, but and we'll talk about Silksong, but there are just a little few crumbs out there that we wanted to be sure that you knew about. All right. Number one, Atari has purchased 82% of Thunderful Games in a deal valued at $5.2 million. Why do we talk about this? Well, Thunderful is one of our favorite publishers and developers here on Nintendo Dads. If you remember, they do things like SteamWorld, the SteamWorld series of games. They've done several other notable titles as well. But the signing of the deal on August 28th makes Atari a majority shareholder of the Thunderful Group, meaning they now also own development studios Coatsink, Early Morning Studios, Studio Fizbin, Thunderful Development, and To the Sky, as well as publishers Rising Star Games and Thunderful Publishing. Atari making moves. I like it. Jesse, what's your take on this? You're our resident Atari wizard. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I
Why
just got
Thunderful?
that is the question. Why has Atari anything that they've done in the last year been done? Like they bought Intellivision. They earlier this year, or they what else did they do? They bought some of Ubisoft's lesser known IPs as well recently.
Yes.
Which I didn't even know that until I read the article about Thunderful. Uh, but so like that, yeah. Two main reasons why this article caught my eye is, one, yeah, as you said, Thunderful is one of our, SteamWorld games. I've liked most of their content, and so it's a publisher we watch, and again, I've been playing Atari games since the '80s, and full disclosure, I own some Atari stock, so I'm hoping that with the Thunderful games, if they continue to do well, that the stock will actually go up more than 20 cents a share.
Yeah. So here's what this doesn't mean. I don't think it does not mean that they're going to close any of these studios, at least for the time being. Probably just Atari trying to make some money
Yeah,
by spending money.
I expect this to be just one of those, just the ownership change, but the day to day won't change much for them.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about
the more that
what's
Atari gets their hands into, and spread themselves thin, they can't really get their hands into everything, and they have to let their subsidiaries be what they are.
What I find interesting is that the things they bought, the things you mentioned before, made sense because it was a lot of retro stuff. So it made sense. It fit that what they had been doing. Everything was concentrating on retro stuff. Buying Thunderful or buying majority shareholder stock into Thunderful Group is different because that's newer games. So
yeah, so they're getting.
Is it because Atari wants to get into publishing new games, or do they want their own publishers, or excuse me, their own developers to create some of these newer versions of their library?
They've always been a publisher. They put out the update, the Atari VCS in 2020, and still supporting it. They're still putting out games for it.
That's why I changed it to developers. They bought the developers.
Yeah. Well,
so are they wanting to make new games, have their own developers develop their games for the what do they call those games? The remixed games or whatever they call them. They had a name for it. I got it.
I know what you're talking about. There's been a lot of them. They've had a Missile Command. They've had an Asteroids, but I can't think of the name either. It's also possible that
Recharged.
It's also possible that the Atari name is kind of tainted over the years. It's been, the 90s and the 2000s. It was a garbage company at that point, and they're trying to rebuild it. So they might have bought Thunderful Games for the
name,
the positive aspect of that name. So they still could be developed Atari games published under Thunderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in pre-show, I'm hoping that I would love for them to put out some new Atari, new Intellivision hardware compatible with the old carts, similar to what they did with the Atari 2600 Plus and the 7200 Plus. It does exactly that, but I want that for the Intellivision now.
I want a 5200. Why can't I get that?
I think there's less games out there to make it worth their while, but you know, I do. I hope that for your sake, I hope they do it someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but you got a good point.
Well, speaking of retro games, new features have also been added to the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Classics app on NSO. There is the ability to customize your control scheme per game, which is something it seems like they're going back and retroactively adding to all of these apps, which means saving different button mappings for every game that you want. 1080p support when playing in handheld mode has also been added for those playing on Switch 2. There's a new banner and icon, and also there's a Game Boy startup sequence Easter egg that appears when you launch the game and then tilt the analog stick in any direction while opening the app. This is the Game Boy Advance, the fly-in Game Boy name with the little bling.
Yes.
So you could do this on the GameCube app as well, and I just think that's cool. I think the Game Boy app will get that eventually as well with the Game Boy, Nintendo coming down and the little ding. At least I hope it does. But
Yes.
I dipped
I,
back
I
into
haven't
this.
checked it yet to see what it did.
I dipped this back in, or dipped back into this to see how this shook out, like with the Mario Advance games, being able to map like run or dash or pick up to Y and jump to B instead of having to play, B and A. And it definitely felt a lot more natural. And so I'm excited to play some of those titles just because sometimes it's hard for me to reorient to, because modern Mario for such a long time, really since Super Mario World, has been dash with Y, action with Y, jump with B, right? So it's hard to think about how you would. I don't know. It's my brain is wired different. So it's kind of like one of the first things I did with Star Fox 64 when this came out was to go in and rewire the
Golden Eye.
controls,
Yep.
Did that
and
with
do
Golden
that.
Eye.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. I'm glad they're going back and doing some of these. But Nintendo, listen, it's time for a new app. Like the Sega app's there and it's great, but they had TurboGrafx 16 games in the Wii and Wii U era. Where are my TurboGrafx 16 games here? I want them. The Neo Geo games I was able to do on a virtual console. Where are they? Right? Let's renew those deals. Let's get it going.
Okay.
Um,
I just checked what hitting the left stick does as you launch it,
uh,
and it does that the traditional Game Boy BIOS boot sequence.
mhm.
Mhm.
I didn't do it with the music on before, but see if I can do it now. I don't know if it'll be picked up by the mic or not. It's there.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
That's okay.
I may make a small video of it this weekend or to show it
Yeah,
off.
that sounds good. Just a couple other little things here. There's been an update for Super Mario Party Jamboree that was released on September 2nd, bringing it to 2.2.0. So if you're playing the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which just launched last month, when you select Super Mario Party Jamboree from the title screen, video output is now in full HD, 1080p. You have to have the Nintendo Switch 2 edition to enjoy this higher resolution. It also says difficulty for the Carnival Coaster mode has been adjusted in places, and there's several other adjustments and fixes made to improve the gameplay experience. And several other adjustments and fixes to improve gameplay experience have also been made on Nintendo Switch if you're playing it there. So that one kind of slipped in under the radar. I didn't know if people had seen it. Um, but yeah. Um, Last thing, kind of on the news before we get to releases and other updates. People were wrong about Star Wars Outlaws on Switch 2, and I'm happy to see this because I think that
Yes.
anytime, and I will say this, Good Vibes Gaming was the one who originally put out the kind of thing of we've played Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch and it sucks, right? Kind of like the whole thing with Elden Ring too. And I will say, good on them, classy move for them to come back and say, you know what, we were wrong and we're sorry. And they made that public. And so I really I like that. I'll be checking out more stuff from them in the future because of that. But if you're out there and you're wondering, Star Wars Outlaws does perform well on Switch too. It is a downgrade from higher graphic systems. Like if you've seen it on PS5, you're going to notice a little bit of graphical quality difference. But Ubisoft listened, they made some optimizations, they were able to fix some things, and we will have first impressions of this game. So if you're holding out on it, wait, and we will have first impressions. You can go to our YouTube channel and check it. But also, I would say this too. If you go and look at this in the eShop, it's $60 for every bit of content that has been put out for this game. All right. So they're giving you a deal in an era where games are coming out and they're $80. All right. You're getting for $60, you're getting all of the DLC for this. And until November 5th, if you purchase it on the eShop, or I guess if you purchase it's a game key card. So if you purchase the physical, I'll put that in quotes, you'll get a skin for your spaceship and something else. I think it's an outfit in the game. But that's a deal up until that time. You have to have the game downloaded by then, and you'll get those when you, I guess when you boot it up.
If you
But
look on our YouTube channel, Justin uploaded a quick short about his unboxing because he bought
okay,
the game key card physical version of it.
yeah,
So if anybody's curious, yes, it is a game key card, but he did an unboxing just to kind of
and
show
he
what
is
it looks like.
also not being he's not on the show this week, but he did say he has videos coming about Star Wars Outlaws that
Yes.
are later. So,
Yeah.
right? And so you'll be able to go check those out this weekend. You won't have to wait very long for content on that. Just be patient. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get those videos recorded and
Yes.
uploaded. But
Especially when
hey,
you got a lot of stuff going on.
that's right. That's right.
Doing a lot of dad stuff.
I
But one of
have
the
this
things
on
oh, go ahead.
PS5. I have this on PS5, so I don't know that I'm going to pick it up on Switch. And also personally, like I'm not saying this in any way. The game quality this is not a knock on the game quality. I just don't think it was for me. It ended up when I booted it up and started playing it, it was a different type of game than I expected it to be. But what I saw was really good. Like the quality of it was really good. It you feel like you're in the Star Wars universe. Kind of the same way that like playing the Batman Arkham games for the first time, you're like, man, I feel like Batman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels like Star Wars. And so they kudos to them. They did a really good job of building a world. It's way more stealth gameplay than I like. And so I just don't think it's for me.
I like a good stealth game. So I'm hoping to pick this up. I'm going to put it on my Christmas list. And so
Yeah.
either pick it up then or use gift cards to get it. But actually what I wanted to say is that Ubisoft doing this not only gives me hope for Ubisoft, but also gives me hope for all those games we've been seeing bad things about from the shows, that hopefully, developers are seeing this and working on it and going to get us a good copy of it. Elden Ring, when it comes out.
And we to this day we still don't have a release date on Elden Ring, correct?
Correct. Yes, we don't. But that's a
So
good
maybe
sign for it. They had a demo build out at the
sure.
shows that, okay, before it went gold and before they sent it out, or even if they had a day one patch, they were able to fix some things for Ubisoft side of things. So hopefully, and maybe, who knows, maybe it was Nintendo helping, or that developer they bought helping these companies with these types of ports. So
Yeah.
I would love to learn more about that, to see if that was something that they helped with or gave advice for to help Ubisoft get it past that hump. And hopefully they're either that or just all developers are able to get past that hump that we've seen at these shows.
I think that Nintendo, I think it would really be beneficial for Nintendo to have like a team that knows how Nintendo optimizes games that they can send to other studios and be like, hey, we're here to help with the compression, or we're here to help with this, or because I mean, like, you look at the file size of a Nintendo first party release versus some of these others and what they're able to do. Um, I just think that may, wouldn't that be neat? They could just say it's like a commando team, like it's the SWAT team. To send it in the Navy SEALs, the optimization SEALs. I don't know.
That's what I think that one
The N
developer is.
team.
The N team, yes. If you have a game that's
Shiver.
way too large, you can call the N team.
So Nintendo bought Shiver from
Yeah,
Embracer, and it was because they were a port studio. And I wonder if they bought them for this reason, for what
yeah.
you were just saying. Maybe
Hmm.
they are the ones who are helping the companies port their things. And I think
They
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 did
should
port something recently to the Switch too.
they should buy Panic Button too. I think, but that's anyway. Long story short, let's talk about some releases and some things you need to keep your eye on that are coming up really soon, or may even be out now. This was a big week for game releases, and both on Switch and Switch 2. Forsaken 64 is out right now. The first update of the Nintendo 64 class mature app on since Switch 2's come out. If you're wondering about this game, think Descent, that old PC game. It's a first person space shooter type thing. Supposed to be kind of edgy. I don't know. I watched the trailer and I was
Yeah,
like, this is
I
cringy.
I said this in
Uh,
Discord, but I've never heard of this game.
oh, I've seen this game.
Yeah, a lot
I
of people
always,
like they heard about it but never played it.
yeah. Well, now it's free, so there's nothing to lose.
I'm
A
actually excited
game,
to try this out because of the Descent like gameplay.
yeah.
Descent was one of my favorites.
Okay. Well, a game that you guys both talked about on the show has received a Switch 2 version, and that is the Exit 8 is now available on Switch. This is a separate version, so if you already have the Switch version, I guess this is like they didn't offer an upgrade path or
But it's a
anything for
cheap
that.
game.
It's a cheap game. Uh,
I'm
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
save
look it
that.
up.
I'm gonna save this next one for last, but we'll go ahead and skip it and come back. Star Wars Outlaws is out right now. Damon Ex Machina Titanic Scion should be out before you hear the audio version of this podcast. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots is out, although it's not doing really well in reviews. There is a golf game though, and what did we say that was the Everybody Golf, Everybody something came out back in 22. It's from the original developers of Everybody's Golf, and they quietly pushed an absolutely free Nintendo Switch 2 patch of this game this week. And they say it makes things a lot better. Jesse, you had something?
Yeah, so the Exit 8, the original version is $4 on sale for $3.19. The Switch 2 version is normally $5, $1 more, on sale for $4.19, and there is a $1 upgrade path.
Okay, good deal.
And
The game I was thinking
with,
of.
with what I
Go
read,
ahead.
I think that it has a few new uh, of the effects. I
Okay.
forget what they call it in the game. Uh, Anachronisms. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so there is a little bit of new content. But I never went back to this game from when I did that live stream. So I never finished it.
Yeah.
Easy come,
Uh,
easy golf was the golf
Easy
game.
come, easy golf. It's now 60 frames per second, new UI, triple tap functionality for those who prefer it. It's also 1080p in handheld mode. And so there's a lot of people who are excited about this because it's made by Clap Hands Limited, which is the original Everybody Golf developer. And they say it's a lot closer to what people wanted. And this new one is not great. So your mileage may vary. I know that we've got some golf game fans in the community, so that's why we mentioned it. Also out right now, Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree, Bad Cheese, which we have a first look incoming. This game, I sent this to my son today. It is a 1920s Disney style cartoon aesthetic, um, survival horror game.
Oh,
Where
that is the type of
Mickey
game that our kids would like, but it's not a me
are
game.
it's kind of like Bendy and the Ink Machine, so like
Yeah,
kind of aesthetic. So like it's about a mouse who has to like something happens to his dad. He gets possessed or something. And he has to like survive the weekend.
It's using the Steamboat Willie thing that expired. So you
Yes.
actually
Well,
see Steamboat Willie.
it's not really Steamboat Willie though. It's a like this big chunky
No,
looking.
it's playing on that though, because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
The
it's
Steamboat Willie, they show Steamboat Willie in the game on the TV
okay.
because he's retired this mouse because he was Steamboat Willie. He's not the
Ah,
he's not the
okay.
MM that we know from Disney. He is the Steamboat Willie
Gotcha.
because that, what do you call it? The rights to that Disney no longer owns. It's
it's
now in
it's
the
now
Yeah,
public
it's
domain.
public
public
domain. That's
domain.
what I
Thank
was
you.
looking for. And if you like horror, Bloober Team's new IP, Chronos: The New Dawn, is also out now on Nintendo Switch. If you're listening to the audio version, as well as NBA 2K26, which is out for Switch and Switch 2. So tons of releases this week. But I think the biggest is probably Hollow Knight Silksong, which is available on Switch and Switch 2. If you buy it on the Switch and later on you get a Switch 2, there's a free upgrade path for that. The soundtrack, if you're into that, is also available on Bandcamp. And Fridays are Bandcamp Friday, which means anything you purchase from the site goes straight to the musician and not the site. So if you're wanting the soundtrack, you want to download it or support, Fridays are a good day to do that. Silksong, an absolutely huge release. News earlier today. When the game launched, it crashed both the Nintendo eShop and Steam at the same time. Uh, people were going crazy for this game,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
saw
already
an image on Facebook, I think on the NVC forums, that they had like multiple switches in multiple regions, eShops, and all of them were dead.
yeah. So that's it's a huge release. I would argue that Silksong is not an indie anymore, even though it's made by an indie studio, because even though it's just $20, it just made them a butt ton of money today, and will continue to. I know my son was finishing up Hollow Knight.
And we'll see their
He
sequel in
hadn't beat
another
it
8 years.
until now. And he was like finishing up. He's like, there's three endings and I've got two of them and I got to get the third one before I buy Silksong. Anyway,
Did you
um,
see Wizards of the Coast jokingly said they were going to come out with a secret layer for Hollow Knight Silksong in 2033?
oh gosh. Anyway, other things you want
I
to
thought
be
that was
aware
funny.
of that are out this month. Bubsy and the Perfect Collection. If you'd like to torture yourself and
The
replay the
perfect
old Bubsy
collection.
games, the Perfect Collection's out on the 9th. Garfield Kart 2, All You Can Drift. Who
Oh
put this
boy,
in the notes?
I
Is
wasn't
out on
me.
September 10th. Lego Voyagers is out September 15th. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds on the 25th. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evil East Chronicles for Switch and Switch 2 on the 30th. Lego Party on September 30th, which is their version of Mario Party. And I've not heard of this game. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny on September 30th.
All these are all family games. That's why they got put in here.
Well,
All
they're
bunch of family
good,
choices.
good. Although I would argue you're doing more damage to your family than helping it if you buy your kids Garfield Kart 2.
I thought I heard the first one was awesome.
I don't know. You know, there's going to inevitably be comparisons to Mario Kart World, and I'm like, just stop it. Just stop it.
Yep,
Is
it's
They're
Garfield?
golf
racers.
cart
Is he like
world.
racing? Is he like sitting in a pan of lasagna driving around the track? I
It's
mean,
Garfield Kart World.
that broke
You're
my
driving on a
brain.
big giant pan of lasagna.
Anyway, if you're
Do-
interested in any of these games, don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel. Be sure you click like and subscribe. You'll get notifications when we put up first looks. And Tim, if we get Garfield Kart 2, you're doing it.
You
It's all on
betcha.
you. This is all your fault. Uh, Anything else about any game releases or news before we move on?
Well, Beer asked if Doug is in Nicktoons, so I quickly found their page, and as playable characters, they have SpongeBob, Leonardo Turtle, Katara from Last Airbender, Timmy Turner, Susie Carmichael, Danny Phantom, and Jenny Wakeman from Life as a Teenage Robot.
These are
Eh,
not Nicktoons. The original Nicktoons were Doug and Rugrats.
Well, we have
Come on.
Susie's the Rugrats rep. Then, as non-playable characters, they have Gary from SpongeBob, Aang and Sokka from Last Airbender, and the Crimson Chin.
Let me just say this
The
to you.
Crimson Chin.
I am very much against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being made a Nicktoon. They were not. They showed on Fox.
Well, it was independent until Nickelodeon bought them.
Yes, they are not Nicktoons. They're not an original Nicktoon. I refuse this. I refuse.
It's
I
Nick now.
refuse.
I don't care if you don't
I
like
refuse to call Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nicktoons as much as I refuse the title of geriatric millennial or zennial. I hate those. I hate those titles. I will not call myself that. I will not call myself a millennial. We are Gen X. Shut up about it. Stop doing it. We're done.
Well, Tim and I are firmly in the Gen X gap. There's no question about that.
I'm 1980. That's like they skip. If you ever watch the thing, it's like such and such to 1979 is Gen X, then 1981. Well, what am I? They're like, you're a zennial, you're a geriatric millennial. No,
You're on the cusp.
I was born in the most perfect year of all time, 1980. It set me up to like all of the good stuff in the 1980s as a kid. He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe. I was there for it.
Becca says your old man is showing.
Becca, we have a boot button. Anyway, I'll show you, old man. Well, with all of our news tapped out, let's just move straight ahead into what we've been playing this week.
Darth Platypus says 1980 is just Generation Marty.
I'll take that. It's a Generation M. I will take it.
M.
So we've just been playing Hollow Knight, Silksong. All right, let's move on. Community Spotlight. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Tim, we're going to start with you because you have a boatload of stuff. Let's talk about it.
Sure. I played some more of Sword of the Sea, which is a PlayStation game from the Journey developers, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Journey was one of my favorite games of all time, so I was reminded it came out. I had to jump on it. Loving the game. Definitely has a lot of the Journey and other games those guys developed. Those feels. Fantastic game. Might be on my list of game of the year stuff. But I'm still got to finish it. So we'll talk about this one in a moment.
Before you move on,
sure.
Darth Platypus says, a boot button, the modern version of get off my lawn.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Generation M.
I'm not even hiding the old man anymore. Forget it. I'm embracing it.
Tetris 99. I know, Jesse, you played it too, but I did it to jump in and grab one of the Kirby backgrounds, which I got. So I played that, and I love playing that. I love jumping in there and playing that every now and then, but I still suck at it because I don't play it enough. But it's still the game that I always keep on my Switch. So even when I got the Switch 2, it's still, I re-downloaded it because I knew I was going to play it again. Playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus Star Crossed World. Been playing that. Just started the third area, which is the carnival area. So just got that started.
That's where I am.
And again, enjoying my time with that game. I didn't play it the first time it came around. I touched it for a little bit, but I just wasn't feeling Kirby at the time. So right now I am. So I'm playing it and having a blast.
I was going to say, you've got a really cool journey ahead of you because that's such a fun game.
Yeah,
And
I'm
the
looking
end
forward to.
game gets bonkers. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you.
That's what I heard. I'm looking forward to the carnival area too. I love the aesthetics of that area when I've seen other people play it. So
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to jumping in that one. And then I of course downloaded Hollow Knight, Silksong, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, even though I did not play the first Hollow Knight game. I was not going to go back and play it. I just figured, what the heck? I'm just going to go and play Silksong. And so far, I'm enjoying it. It's a so far so good Metroidvania. I still have things to unlock, so I don't know what's all there, and I don't have much of an opinion on it just yet because I still got a lot more to play. So, but I got through the first boss. That's where I'm at on that game.
Cool. Jesse, what about you?
I was trying to find my tweet about some of the information about Tetris 99, but I couldn't find it. So I did play that too. I got I think I had the first Kirby, but I didn't have the other two. I eventually get all three. Well, I was originally confused. I thought it was a 3-day event and there was 1 day per theme. I played Friday, got the theme, played Saturday, and my points just continued from before. I'm like, what's going on? I realized this then on Sunday that it was a 4-day event. The first theme was 48 hours. Then he got 24 hours and 24 hours for themes 2 and 3. So I was able to get them on Sunday and Monday. So
Nice.
I think the best I did was 13th place, and the worst I did was 97th place.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, getting 1 point doesn't help me when I need 20.
Right.
Sure.
But if you can break that top 90, you got 10 points. So you only need to do that twice, and you're done.
Yeah. One of the things that I have a hard time doing, I still have yet to do, is what do they call it? The T-flip.
Yeah, I don't understand that
Like
at
that.
all.
I think it's when you have that T-shape and you
You got to
gotta
fit it into
turn
a
it
cubby.
right. Yeah, right. You gotta turn it right when at the last second or something like that to get it right in the spot to fit in some weird place. And then
I call that advanced technique I'll never understand.
Yeah, it's like I tried because it was like one of my daily things. I had to do 5 of those, and I was like, nope, I guess I'm not getting that one.
Yeah, if I did a daily task to win a ticket, it was just by coincidence. I don't even look at them anymore to see what that they're asking me for.
Mecha Dragon said it was T-spin. So thanks,
Okay.
Mecha.
So I did see though on Mondays it was get top 50 twice. I did it once. I'm not going to play it any more than that to try to do it again. So I think there are 49 or 39. 49 sounds right. Themes now? I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the 49th Maximus Cup.
But not every Maximus Cup was a new theme. Like this.
Right.
So 39 is probably right.
Yep.
I own 22 of them. And I think there are 5 that I could buy if I have enough tickets to do it, but they're 30 tickets each. So no way in hell I'll be grinding out that many tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 19 or whatever is mathematically left, maybe 17 by now, because when I did this math, it was before I did Sundays and Mondays. So I think it was 19 before, so I have now 17. There's 17 themes that are just unattainable unless they reintroduce them like they did with this last event.
Like the old Game Boy theme?
Yeah, I have that one. That was theme number 1.
I have that one. have often wondered why they've not leaned into more of the system specific or, actual first party Tetris release themes like Nintendo, the NES theme. I'm wondering if maybe they might do that one for 50.
That would be a good one.
I would love to have that because do you remember the if you beat it all the way, like you got up to like level 9, 99 lines. I think something like that, like on fast speed. Like every time it was, I think it was on type B. Like if you beat the level, there would be like this little screen where it was outside like that palace in
Oh
Russia,
yeah,
and it would have like a Nintendo character playing a musical instrument.
and
And if you did all of them, it would have like Mario, Link, Donkey Kong, Princess,
Samus.
Samus
Yeah, I
playing a
I
musical
used to be
instrument.
able to do that. I don't know if I can do that anymore.
Yeah, it's really tough. I don't know
And
that I
then
ever. I
if you
think
get
I
high,
just saw it on a
if you
video.
get tall enough, one of the towers actually launches into orbit like a rocket. Yeah,
Nice.
and
Cool deal.
then I played more of Professor Layton and the Curious Village. I talked about that a little bit last week. I did finish the story. My initial playthrough was like 11 hours. This time I did it in 8.5. Though I did, you know, I read, I attempted most of the puzzles. If it was something I think I could do and work out on my own, I did. But if it was like, here's a series of pegs, how many squares can you make out of it? I went, screw that. Just went right to a walkthrough to just get the answer and move on. I wasn't really in it for the puzzles. I was in it for the story. And when I had started the game, again, I think the last time I played this was when it was new in 2007. So 18 years ago. Um, I had completely forgotten what the plot of the story was. But about halfway through it, when they started dropping hints, I'm like, okay, I remember what happens. So it didn't have the impact to me, but still, it was a fun story. I recommend people give it a go. Uh, there's at the they have some mini games like every once in a while you might get a torn piece of a painting. So it's you put them all, they put the painting back together again, and it unlocks additional puzzles in the bonus menu outside the game. There's things like that. So there's a few more bonus puzzles I still have to go through to say I've done them all, but at least the all of the in-game puzzles I've completed. Uh, and then after that, I just decided to watch the Layton movie, which
I
was,
forgot there was a movie.
yeah, the Eternal Diva, and I have that in my collection, so I gave that a
That actually
watch.
had a limited release, if I remember, in U.S. theaters.
Did it? I didn't catch that if it did.
I think
I
it did. I think
I
I remember seeing a trailer for it.
I bought it on DVD when I heard about it, and then I ripped it and added it to my digital collection. So that's how I watched it through the Apple TV app, uh, computer shared, and on my iPad. So that's something that I've done lately since everything's on Netflix or Paramount streaming or whatever. But I still have a collection of locally stored media like I go to from time to time. I think that was what I don't remember what the year it was. I think was it 20, it wasn't 2017. I don't remember when that, now I want to look it up. But yeah, it was older than I thought actually. Um Layton Eternal Diva. Oh, 2009. So yeah.
Hmm.
So that was about the time after they released the second or third game.
Yeah, I think it was the second game because I
Yeah, so
remember
because the first
we
three
had it.
games was a trilogy, And then the next three games was a trilogy, but all set before the first game. So Luke is
Right.
younger, and they had a different additional sidekick on their team, I guess you could say. So the movie starts off at least sometime after the first game because something, the person that you find at the end of the first game then becomes like another sidekick to you in future games. She's in the movie, and then it goes into the bulk of the movie is set in the past, where they have the younger Luke and the Emmy character as a sidekick,
Gotcha.
who is more of like
Okay.
probably like more like a college age girl.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I've had a chance to play.
Cool. So for me, a couple of things that I've been playing I want to mention is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Uh, I love this game. Love the art style. It is going to be getting an update. They said very soon to fix some resolution issues on Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure if they meant to, but I know that I feel like it could look a little bit better on Switch too. Hopefully that'll happen. But I'm really enjoying my time with it. I pulled out my Wii U I moved it from the bedroom to the living room, and I've been playing Wind Waker HD again because it's been a long time since I've been through that game, and it releasing on the Switch 2 on the NS on the GameCube app made me want to play it without the dumb controls
Yeah,
there. And the only way to do that is to play Wind Waker HD, I think. And I wanted the widescreen too. So God, can we please stop all of the, and this is just going to be my little rant right here. I am so tired of hyper realistic everything in video games. Give me a game like this that has awesome art direction and just has the, I mean, it looks like you're playing a freaking cartoon. I love it. And I don't understand why more people this was like it was a huge gripe back in the day. I know people did come to love it eventually, but this to me is the quintessential Zelda game. Like it's my favorite. And I know not everybody feels that way. I know they made some improvements for for Wii U, like the Triforce Quest, or Peace Quest, they kind of trimmed it down, but it still holds up
the
this
fast
game.
fail makes things a lot easier.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
I
I'm
also,
I actually plan on setting up my Wii U when I move into the new place because I do want to play through Twilight Princess, which I haven't done yet on the Wii
yeah, I
U.
haven't done that either, and I need to do that too.
Because
But Wind Waker came first.
the running joke is I played my second playthrough on the Wii, and like a week after I finished it, they announced a Wii U version. And I'm like, well, I
Okay,
don't
we'll
want to
get
play
on
this
that.
again. I just finished it, so I never got around to playing it. And my the joke is, as soon as I play this, they're going to announce it for the Switch. And I never played it, so they never announced it.
Well,
So we'll see if they finally do
now
or not.
now we know what the holdup is.
Yep.
Also, Tim talked about discounting on here a few weeks ago. It made me go try the demo, which I remember. I think I may have said this on the show, or maybe I just said it to you guys. I launched the demo and I was going, please don't be good, please don't be good,
I
please
think we
don't be
talked about
good.
this last week. Yeah.
It was very good, and so I caved this week and bought the game. Um, which leads me to a comment that I made on X earlier this week of why is it in the year of our Lord 2025 that we're so advanced in gaming, but we still can't move progress from demos to regular games? Uh, that I thought my progress from the demo was going to move over, and
Oh
it
no,
didn't. And that's stupid.
we
If
had to play
you
that
like
hour and a half over again.
just Yes, just and there were things that were trimmed out for the demo, and I understand why they were, but honestly, just give me the first hour of a game in a demo, and I'm gonna know if I'm gonna like it or not. and then like entice me with, oh, now that you finished the demo, don't you want to continue your save on the real game? Square Enix has wised up to this, and they do it with certain games. Like I think the Elliot game, the save's gonna go over, and they've done it with what was the other game they did it with?
Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, Octopath
Yeah,
did it.
yeah.
Please,
I
if you're
remember
gonna put out a demo,
Dragon Quest Builders originally did not, and that's why I never played the first Builders because I didn't want to play that over again.
yeah,
And I think they eventually did
yep,
patch it in so it would transfer over. So I ended
that
up
would
playing Builders 2 first, loved it, then went back to the Builders 1, and eventually loving that too.
yeah. Just come on, just do that. Also, Tim and I, he didn't talk about this when he was talking, but we both played Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, the open network test over the weekend. And guys, oof, oof,
Oof.
this was rough. It was bad. And listen, Tim even said it. He was like, "Yeah, it wasn't great." And if Tim says a racing game is not great, Tim loves all racing games. This, wow.
Worse than
I
Chocobo
don't.
Racing?
No, not worse. It was just meh.
Okay.
It was just
I was gonna
there
say,
wasn't anything
because
to
I
sell me
played
to
Chocobo Racing and it was horrible.
that
So
was horrible.
I will say this. I think the
We
one
streamed
saving
that.
grace of CrossWorlds was its tracks. The maps and some of the things that happened during that are kind of fun. It was good, but there was just so
Like it
much.
was a demo too, or they did claim,
Yeah,
they did say that, this is not representative of the
no,
actual game.
it felt
But
like a free to play racer.
But
yeah, it
It
still,
was
really did.
if you're going to put out a test like that, you want it to have the best foot forward.
The items didn't feel like they made that much impact. They didn't make a whole lot of sense in the grand scheme of things. Like I'm like, why is that an item? Like one of the items is a punch glove on a spring, and I guess
I
it's
thought that
their
was funny.
version. I guess it's their version of a green shell, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, because
Um,
they have a green glove and a red glove.
and then there's a like this buzz
Does the red one
saw,
chase
which is
you?
I
I think
yes.
so.
Oh no!
There's a
I said that as a
there's a
joke. I was kidding.
buzz saw item that like comes up beside your car and like saws into your car. So I guess it's kind of like a blue shell. It did not grab me. The other thing is that this it is the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 of racing. Nobody in that game shuts up.
Oh
It's
boy!
constant chatter from the time, like even before the race starts. Like it zooms in on the racers and they're yang back and forth at each other. And I'm like,
I
oh my
didn't mind that
gosh.
too much, but what I did find kind of odd is every time they talked, at least beginning or at the end of the race, they had to stand up in the car.
Yep.
Like, why
Yep.
are you standing?
And I don't know if you noticed this, but the audio mixing on the whole thing was awful. Like the music was too low, the voices were too high. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. I didn't even keep it on my Switch long enough for Joker to unlock to try him for the weekend because he had like a 24-hour period. It did do this thing where it was like, if you play the Grand Prix, you'll unlock a racer. No, it didn't. It did not. It took me to a screen and asked me to buy it. And I was like, that it just felt like it went on forever. One race, one Grand Prix. I didn't even play it online. Um, I think comparing this to Mario Kart World is actually kind of laughable. Like, and I've seen people do it's like it's going to be the Mario Kart World killer because it's going to be focused on characters and interaction and all that stuff. You can
Yeah,
have
I
it.
would say don't.
You can
If you're looking at this game, don't try to compare it to that. It is something
no,
completely different.
it
It
is.
is, you know, deluxe. Maybe compare it to Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that's it.
One thing I've been trying to
Yeah.
pay attention to on games, especially if they have a lot of chatter, is do they try to lip sync characters' mouths with the voices?
I
Were
didn't
you
pay
able to
attention to
tell
that.
if they tried?
I think that like okay, so my rival in when I first played was Stormbird or something like that. This big fat gray bird, and
Never heard of
his
it.
like beak was just flapping when he talked. It was like no, no, no,
Mine
like
was Shadow,
yeah. So
but I wasn't paying attention to the mouth
Okay.
movements.
Because
What irritated me was
yeah.
he kept standing up when he had to talk, and I was like, "Why are you standing up in a car?"
one thing I never
For the same
talked.
reason, Tim, that when Nabbit wins a race in Mario Kart World, he turns around and shakes his butt at the camera. Have you seen that?
Yes,
It's
yes.
like the cart's going one way and he's up just twerking in the camera. I'm
Well,
like,
I think it was. I
Well,
think it
he
was
never
part of just
dies, so he doesn't have to worry about dying.
no, that's true.
I think
He's
it was part of a
invincible.
pose though, that like when he talked, he was sit there and like put his hand on his hip and say something and like standing up in the cart as it's
Um,
driving, and I'm like, this doesn't make
anyway,
sense.
Well, going back,
it's just
I never got far in Donkey Kong Bonanza. But one thing that I was impressed with was they did very good lip syncing. While the monkeys don't talk English, they talk whatever Monkey Kong language they have. They synced to that Kong language, and
yeah,
I
they
noticed
did.
it more with that skinny girl Kong, and I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. So Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is completely off the table for me. That's none. That's not the last game I've been playing. Is I am playing the hit game that everybody's talking about right now, Hollow Knight,
The first
the
one.
first one. Yeah. So here's the deal. I played Hollow Knight back when it came out, and I thought it sucked. I'll just be real honest. I was not a fan.
Yeah,
I was
it
frustrated with it. It was
it
way
was
too hard.
it
I
was
didn't.
hard. I tried a little bit, and I don't think I got
I
past like
couldn't.
20
I couldn't
minutes.
find my way around. I couldn't find my way around. I kept getting lost. I kept finding enemies that were too hard, and I was like, "This is dumb."
It's on
So
Game Pass, right?
I just shelved it. It is, but I had it on Switch,
Okay. I'm
and
pretty sure I
so
played it on Xbox. I
I
didn't have to pay for it.
I shelved it, and then I tried it again a few years ago, and I still kind of felt the same way. And so I've kind of been biased toward it, and I've been kind of negative toward Silksong. Like I said earlier today, that Silksong's release is like my video game Jurassic Park moment. When Jurassic Park came out in the 90s, I didn't watch it till like 20 years later or 25 years later because everybody was watching it, and I said, I don't care. It's too much hype. I'm not watching a movie with that much hype. Then I watched it and I was like, why did I never watch this? This is great. And so I decided this afternoon,
What
right,
movie was that
that
again? I
I would
missed it
give
when you mentioned it.
Jurassic Park,
Jurassic Park.
Okay.
the original one. So I decided this afternoon that I would give Hollow Knight another chance. I was like, what can already have the game. What can it hurt? Booted it up on the Nintendo Switch 2. Went and looked up a walkthrough. 2.5 hours later, my Switch battery ran out, and I was like, "Oh crap! I've got to stop." So I kind of think it's hooked me. I think I get it. Like it finally clicked. So I'm looking forward to playing more Hollow Knight this weekend.
Well,
Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm trying to do it with an open mind. And so far so good. The only thing that I'm really struggling with right now is that I found all this stuff that it feels like I'm supposed to buy, but money is very hard to come by in this game. And like the guide that I'm in, it's like buy this now, and I'm like, that's 18,000 geo. I have or 1,800 geo. I have 600, and I just had to pay $140 for a map. What? Why? How am I gonna get enough money to do this?
and
So I'm finding all the little piles to hit and do all that. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to. But anyway, long story short, I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far. The last thing I wanted to talk about with what we've been playing is not a game, but it's an accessory, and I
yeah,
don't
I
really
saw
know where to
this. I'm
put
like,
it.
what is that?
I don't have anywhere else to put it. So
That's fair.
uh, I needed I got my dock with my Switch 2, and I bought a real Nintendo Switch 2 dock from Nintendo, so that I could do videos. Because moving my dock back and forth was just not going to happen. The way that our TV's set up in the living room would have to dig behind it and everything because it's up on a
Yeah.
mantle and all this stuff. I'm not doing that. And I was really disappointed to find out that the covert dock was not going to work. Right. And so
Right, because
I thought,
because its power requirements aren't the same.
yeah. So I bought another Nintendo Switch 2 dock. And I was like, I would like one for my office because I had a dock in there. And that's where I had the dock with my dock sock on it, that we got made with our Nintendo Dad's avatars and everything, art that Tim had done for us. And so I wanted one I didn't want to pay another $110. So I started getting this ad on Instagram, and Tim has gotten these too. He said, for the Antank S3 Max Nintendo Switch 2 dock station. If you go look this up, sometimes it might be under the brand SIWIQU, SIWIQU. And I've been using it for about a week and a half in various situations. And I'm happy to report this could be your solution for a portable dock for Switch 2. And here's why. Before you say, "Oh man, Marty's gone off the deep end. He's going to break his Switch 2." So it seems to me that the thing that ends up breaking switches more than anything is power issues. The CIWIQU or Antac S3 Max dock does not come with its own power supply. You have to use the Nintendo provided power supply for it. But as long as that's plugged in and you use any regular old HDMI cord, it does fantastic. It's basically like a little triangular dock with the dock USB port. You clip your Switch 2 in there, you plug it in, boom, it's ready to go. There is a button on the back of it that will switch it from display mode, like on your TV that's connected to just charging mode, where like it'll basically it's like turning off the dock. So it could still be held in that little dock frame and charge and allow you to play it like in tabletop mode. So it's almost like a little stand too. It's very lightweight, super affordable. I got mine for like 38 bucks on Amazon. It was free 2 day shipping.
Yeah,
And
it's marked
I
down to
ended
about
up,
$28 now. I just put a link in the chat.
well, I'm just going to tell you that it works really well. I would highly recommend going and purchasing a second Nintendo Switch 2 official Nintendo power adapter for it. I got one at Walmart for $35. And so that's way cheaper than their dock. Now,
Yeah,
it does not come with the ultra high speed HDMI cable, but you can probably find one of those way cheaper than what their dock kit is too.
yeah, you can probably
So
probably
if
find
you
one for
use
20
this, I'm
bucks.
just going to say this. If you use this and it bricks your Switch, I'm sorry, but I'm doing it with mine. I'm going to be right there with you. Okay. Uh, but I had to have another option. And I can't pay $110 every time I need a new dock.
Yeah,
I'm looking, I've got docks for Switch. The original Switch, I don't even know how I got them. Like I've got like 5 or 6. I don't know where they all came from. But the Switch 2 docks are really hard to get. I've not seen them at all in stores. GameStop had like this USB-C dongle that they were advertising when the Switch 2 first came out, and it never came out. So I don't know if they like Nintendo stepped in and stopped it or whatever, but this is a viable option and it works. It also has 2 USB ports on the back, USB-A, sorry, that will allow you to plug in controllers or, wireless controller adapter. The GameCube controller adapter is what I'm trying to say.
does it have
So,
Ethernet?
I don't think so.
If
That's a
you go
great
to the
question.
website, there's actually a couple, they have several different versions, including a version that I actually been looking at, which is the S3 Air 5-in-1 dock, which allows you to put both the Switch 2 and Switch 1 on the same dock. Not at the
Jesse,
same
yes, it
time.
does. It does have Ethernet.
Cool.
The one I'm looking at on Amazon's $39.99. It has Ethernet. It has 2 USB-A ports, the USB-C port for your charging and HDMI out.
Okay. I guess it's
So
different than the
that
one I
one's,
found. Well,
yeah, it's 5-in-1 USB-C hub is what it says. It does not come, again, doesn't come with its own power supply. So you need to be careful with that. But it's definitely works for a portable. I mean, like literally, it's a
okay.
wedge.
Okay. The first one
It's
I
all in
found
one.
did not have an Ethernet port. The one you are talking about
Yeah.
does. I'll put the link to
Yes.
that.
And
And it
so
does cost a little bit more.
yeah, it's $39.99. So you can choose which one you want, but I'm just here to say they work. I think that you negate the danger by using Nintendo's power adapter with it. Um, and I recommend it. Um, I will say this: there's only been one negative thing that happened. It was the very first time I used it. Um, my Switch got stuck in the resolution for my 55-inch TV where it was in settings. When I moved it to my 65-inch TV, I was like, that looks weird. Why does it look weird? And so I did just a hard reset, hold down the power button and do a reset on the Switch, and it popped
Like,
right
was it
back where
stuck
it
in
needed to be.
480p or something? Or what was.
Yeah, it was like things kind of looked grainy,
Well, I've
like it
had
looked
that
a little
issue
off.
with the OLED on, so it's probably something similar happened with that. Whatever
Yep,
bug that was is still around with the Switch 2. But yeah, normally
absolutely.
rebooting things got it to work.
Yeah, it just took a reboot and it was fine. And that is what we've been playing. It's time to turn on the community spotlights.
All right, so
Tim?
community spotlight we usually use. Sorry, I was never mind. Uh question from the Discord, Darth Platypus, what is your Mount Rushmore of gaming? Top 4 games, any systems, any time. I put not just games because we already did our top games of all time. So I did kind of like bulk games. Like I have to play the newest game when it comes out of these series of games.
Sure.
So I put Metroid games, God of War games, Madden games, and this is a little bit more a category, but
Or
racing
generic.
combat games. Yeah, racing combat games because I put Twisted Metal games here, but I
Well,
like
there's more
a
than that.
lot of I like a lot of racing combat games where you've got, like Twisted Metal, you've got the split second game that I keep playing recently. Asphalt would be considered fall under that category. Mario Kart even falls under that category, believe it or not. But anything where you are basically throwing items at somebody or weapons, using weapons against somebody, is a race combat game. So even if it's the car itself, if you're trying to take them off the road with your car
Would be
itself, that's a race
F-Zero.
combat game. Yes. So that would be my Mount Rushmore is Metroid games, God of War games, Madden games, and race combat games. If I had one system that could play all of these and only could play all of these, that's what I would want. How about you guys?
Uh,
I probably
if I'm pressed, go ahead, Jesse.
say I probably can't pick out single games either, but also I'll stick with the series. I'd probably go with uh, Zelda, Dragon Quest, Pikmin, and Mario.
Okay.
I've been wanting to replay Pikmin 3 and 4 again. Probably, if they ever put out a Switch 2 update, I probably will.
Mouse update.
Don't know about that. I just want the 4K.
So I'm gonna have to go series 2. And for me, it's gonna be Mega Man, Mario, Zelda, Metroid. And then if I get an honorable mention, and I do because I run the show, down in the corner, down in the corner in fifth place would be Kirby.
To be your small print.
Kirby's like adding a vice president to the Mount Rushmore.
That works.
And,
Very
and,
cool.
and it's hard for me. It's honestly it's hard for me to decide because like Metroid kind of edges it out because like I don't think there's ever been a really bad Metroid release. And there's been a couple of questionable Kirby games to me, but like I've always been excited when a new Kirby game's coming out. So they've really, I mean, like you strike that balance. Like it's like he's cute, but he's also an extra dimensional entity who is combating eldritch horrors beyond our comprehension. It's so
Right.
weird. It's such a weird series, but that's why I love it.
That
Good
is very
question.
interesting. That is a good question.
Good question.
Sparky asked or has mentioned, I started taking a few pictures of my massive retro gaming collection as I planned on selling much of it. But then I started playing a few, such as Paperboy 2 on the SNES and NBA Jam with my son on the SNES. And I asked myself, do I really want or need to sell them? And now I'm more in the keep camp. But the thing is, I hardly ever play them anymore. It's a really tricky one, isn't it? What do you think? Have you moved yours on and started clean?
Mm,
I think most of the games I've lost over the years has just been lost in moves and whatnot. I never intentionally got rid of them. They just aren't around anymore. But I've always been in the collector mindset. I don't want to get rid of what I have bought, which just half the reason why I've been digital primarily since the Wii U.
mm,
That way, I can keep the games and not the clutter.
yeah. I really regret getting rid of my retro game collection. I mentioned this in the Discord where Sparky brought this up that I was a kid in the 80s where my parents made really bad financial decisions because I was an only child and they couldn't tell me no. And so if there was a video game system, I had it. Like it's easier for me to name things I didn't have than what I
3DO and Neo
did
Geo.
have. I didn't have a 3DO or a Jaguar or a Lynx or a Philips CDI or a Neo Geo or a Saturn. Um, I d- but I think that's about it. The big ones I remember are NES, Super Nintendo, basically any Nintendo system, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, TurboGrafx 16. I
Yeah,
never
the
had a
the
Game
second
Gear.
tower of hardware.
I had a 32X, but it didn't work, so we took it back and they refunded all the money, and I bought other stuff with it at Christmas. I did have a Turbo Express, which was the handheld TurboGrafx 16. I
Did
had a
that
Game
that
Boy.
because they used the little cards instead of a cartridge,
It did. It
so
used
it
the
was
cards, and
easier to
so
be portable.
you could take it with you. It was fantastic. It ate through batteries. Like if you,
How was
every
that
time
was my next
somebody
question? How's the battery
listen,
life?
every time somebody complains about Switch 2 battery life, I laugh in Turbo Express. Ha 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 ha. Duracell loved me for years. But yeah, like I had all of that and I had all the games. Like basically any game. And I remember it all went to EB Games at some point or another. Everything. And probably it was like, I'm gonna trade in all this to get the next thing. Right. Because
Yep.
I have this distinct memory of trading in a bunch of Nintendo 64 and PlayStation stuff to get a Game Boy Advance when it came out. And so here that he followed up with me and asked the question, do you think you would use it if you had it? And honestly, no, because I bought that Nintendo in the box, the NES that I got that crazy stupid deal on earlier this year, and I've never plugged it up. Mainly because I don't have a TV that would handle it. I don't have a CRT, um,
Yeah.
and I don't
I
have the VGA adapter. So I don't know that I would play them, but there's part of me that goes, I wish I had them. Does that
I
make
do try to
sense?
play my systems. I haven't lately because I've had other things going on, but
Yeah.
like, so I still have like a little corner TV unit that I want to put in the corner of my living room that has
Hmm.
a 32-inch CRT, which is a big for a CRT. So don't let the 32-inch make
Yeah,
you think
that
it's
is
small.
huge.
Yeah.
It's massive.
So it's yeah. So it's the thing's like 30 years old, still works great. So I still plan on playing the Intellivision on it, my Famicom on it, things like that. In fact, one of the projects that I'm wanting to do once I get everything set up in the new house is to uh, mod my Famicom to have RCA out instead of RF only, and for the power requirements to actually have it powered by a USB-C, because the normal
Mm,
power requirements for that it's a slightly lower voltage than what we have. We have 120 volts in our houses. It wants like 100 or 110. I do have a step down transformer to give it safe power, but if I can skip a step, all the that's all the better. It's just less hardware to have lugging around in my living room.
Nice.
So that's that's
There's
part of the things I'm planning on.
us in my family's younger years, we did have to trade in a lot of stuff in order to be able to buy the next system. So there was, yeah, would I have liked to have kept a lot of that stuff? Yes, I would have. But we would not have been able to move on to the next new system if it wasn't for those deals that GameStop slash whatever company they were before did. So, and to this day, the things we were able to keep, we're in that same boat where we hardly ever touch them, even though we have them. Like we have things as far back as Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Advance, all the way up past that. Um, because a lot of the backwards compatibility too. So, like even GameCube, we have a lot of GameCube stuff because we could play it on the Wii. And then a lot of the Wii games we still have because you could play it on the Wii U. So we were thankful for that. We kept the PlayStation 3. My oldest has that now. We had a PlayStation 4 until that one died. Probably have to clean it or whatever. So a lot of that stuff we kept, but we're not playing much anymore because my family likes to play the latest and greatest stuff. And that's where I find myself at right now is like, do I want to sell those? But what I found in this time frame is that I've decided not so much to keep things for me, it's to keep the things that are going to be nostalgic for my kids, like the DS or the 3DS, or like the Wii and Wii U, because those are the systems they played on as kids. And I want to keep those, just like my oldest, her systems were the PlayStation 3 and the GameCube. And so she's more nostalgic for those, and so when she had got her own place, she asked if she could take the PlayStation 3, which I let her take. So, I'm finding that from my kids as they get older, they get nostalgic for those systems they grew up on, and that's why I'm keeping those, and maybe not so much the ones that I'm nostalgic for, like, I've been trying to collect again, like the Game Boy Advance or anything older, because it's starting to right now, it's more expensive to get those things. Um, so I think what I'm holding on to more is for my kids' nostalgia time when they get older and they wanna have those things. So that's what I'm holding. Hopefully that helps, Sparky, on your decision on what to get rid of. Next question comes from JD Phoenix from or Jamie in Australia. Can you play a Nintendo Switch 2 edition physical cartridge game, i.e., Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition, Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition on a Switch 1? I'm sure there are many people like myself who are very confused with this, and I've hardly heard anyone talk about it as why would they play their Switch 2 edition games on a Switch 1 when they can play them on a Switch 2? With the upcoming releases of Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, can the dads please provide some clarification? I did.
Again, as a digital buyer, I don't have the cartridges to test this. I wouldn't trust them to work unless the developer specifically says that it will. Like
The box will say it will if it does work.
What was
Like
that farming game?
Nintendo's.
The something seasons.
Victoria Seasons.
I don't remember which one it was. Let me look up release.
Well, while you're trying to look that up, I'll mention that I did look up that Nintendo at least puts it on their boxes, and I'm assuming if they're going to publish, if anybody else is publishing games that are Switch 2 editions, that they will say it on the box. But I did share in our Discord that they're on the box. It will say that the Switch 2 game contains the Nintendo Switch version of the game with an upgrade path on it.
Rune Factory. That game can be played on a Switch 1 with the Switch 2 cart. But again, I think that's the exception and not the rule.
Yeah. So again, Mecha even says you cannot, but that's wrong. It will say it on the packaging for the physical version, whether or not what it contains. It says it right there on the package for the physical version. Not talking about game key cards or anything like that. We're just saying if it's a Switch 2 edition, it'll say if it contains the game, it will have the Switch 1 version and that it has the upgrade on it as well. And actually a funny story is I actually tried to reach out before finding the boxes and all that kind of stuff. I reached out to Nintendo's support team and asked that question. And using Kirby as an example, I asked, can I take the physical version of Kirby, the Switch 2 version edition of Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and put it in my Switch 1? And I even gave the example of me having a Switch 2, buying the game, but buying the physical version of that game and letting my son who has a Switch 1 use it. Can he run the original Switch 1 game? Knowing that he can't run Switch 2 content on his Switch 1, can he do that? And they said no. And I said, are you sure? Because I thought I heard that you could do that with the Breath of the Wild game, the Zelda games. And they still said no. And then while they were looking for that to confirm that information, I did find that on the Best Buy site with Kirby game physical version on the box, it calls it right out. That says this cartridge, Switch 2 edition cartridge, the red cartridge contains the Switch game and the upgrade, and it is compatible with the Switch. So when you put it in the Switch, you can play the Switch 1 version, but not the Switch 2 content. So, but it has to specifically call it out on the packaging.
So, related topic. In the past weeks, we've picked on Mario Party Jamboree for not putting the Switch 2 update to the base game. They did patch it to have the base game play in 1080p 60. So, anyone who listens to old episodes and tries to actually yes, at the time that was true. It is no longer true.
Nice. Yep. So it is.
So your mileage may vary.
Yeah, it's again.
I think
just
that's a
read
fair
the packaging. Read the packaging.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also,
so
no,
someone in the community test it out and let us know. I'm sure other people will be interested in finding out.
and also note that support may not know the answer either.
I wouldn't have expected them to even try that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good deal.
Which is funny. All right, next question is from David B, which is Koopa Kid 80. Said, did Kirby and the Forgotten Land star CrossWorlds come and go very quietly? I haven't really seen a lot of coverage or promotion for this, similarly to Jamboree TV. Do the dads think Nintendo will move forward with this strategy for any more Switch 1 games, receiving additional content and releases on Switch 2?
I do.
I
I
hope.
think it's interesting that we've not seen any others yet. But if the rumors of a direct next week are any indication, I think that we'll see something happen. There's two, like, it's interesting to think that there's two categories of games that got upgrades. And there are some notable exceptions in games that did not get announced in either one of those categories, like Smash, Pikmin 4, and others that could have a paid upgrade path. They just haven't announced it yet. So,
True.
going back to July, Mario Party's upgrade came and went pretty quick too. Um,
Yeah, I think part
so
of the reason
yeah,
that both games kind of came and went without a lot of fanfare is the amount of new content was relatively minimal, like 5 or 6 hours and it's done. So not really a lot to talk about other than it exists. It's still fun if you like that sort of thing, but it's not
yeah,
like playing through another 30-hour game.
Yep, very true. Good responses there. All right, another question that David B asks is Hollow Knight Silksong is out now for $20. Took years to develop, is finally crafted, and looks and runs amazing on Switch 2. Do the dads feel that other developers, indie game devs, can learn anything from this game as far as pricing, marketing strategy goes? They have kept good faith with the fan base despite very little updates prior to game coming out, priced the game very fairly, and broke the eShop upon release. So many indie games priced too high, marketed poorly, and are lost to the eShop, never to be seen again.
Well, I would
And then
say that
Star
they didn't market the game at all. It was all fan hype for 6 years.
right.
yeah. I want to say that I think that Silk Song's lightning in a bottle. I don't think you're going to see that for everything.
Right.
I think that even if other indie developers took some cues from Team Cherry, that this is unprecedented and it's something that probably is not going to happen very often, if ever again. I would argue, as I said earlier in the show, I don't think Silk Song is an indie game anymore, simply because of the amount of hype that's behind it, the amount of drive that's been behind it. That, like Jesse said, they didn't need to promote it. It's kind of like Nintendo doesn't really promote Mario games if you think about it. They put the clips out there, they let the clips talk for it, for the game, and then they release it. And so Team Cherry did the same thing with Silksong. They teased it for 6 years. They worked at their own pace. They eventually released it. It's probably going to be considered a masterpiece. It might even be considered in a lot of people's Game of the Year talks. If Hollow Knight is any indication, but I think that what I would say is that indie devs definitely need to look at pricing based on this, because look at how much game people are getting for $20, right? And so you have to weigh, as he said, so many poorly made games flooding the eShop for $3, $4, $5. And then you've got a really well made game that took a long time for two guys to make for $20. Which one are you more willing to pay for? Which one are you more willing to do? And think about it, guys. How many times has this game shown up in a Nintendo Direct or Indie World promotion? Once, twice?
Between that and
I mean,
Xbox, it's been a few
Yeah, but
times.
yeah, yeah. I'm saying on Nintendo's presentations, they did not They did not overly promote this game. They did not overly hype it.
Yeah.
And I would be very, very, very interested to see sales figures.
I forgot that Silksong did not get early releases out. I logged into Metacritic, and everything is TBD.
Yep.
It was just like, if it's coming out for anybody, it's coming out for everybody.
I do know that, like I said about sales figures, I do know that Silksong broke 400,000 players today on Steam, just on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then 8 hours ago, it hit 500,000 concurrent players. So for a single player adventure-based game to do that in 2025 is very rare. But I think this shows you.
Yeah, Metacritic shows it's available on 7 platforms.
When developers take their time, when developers pour their heart and their soul into one creation, they're not rushed. They don't get bought by a bigger studio and then get chained to other things that they didn't mean to do or never had any intention to do. They can create excellence. And I do think that there is something to be learned from that. What do you guys think?
Yes.
I agree. Yeah. I can't think of any other way to word it. So, yeah, I agree.
Well, with that said, Star Wars Dads did ask, between Hollow Knight, Silksong, and Star Wars Outlaws, which one is Justin going to give up first?
Well, he's not here to answer that yet.
He's not. So
well, we can guess though, right? Which one do you?
I think he's going to give up Outlaws first.
I was going to say I think he's going to probably last longer at Outlaws than Silksong.
Oh, really?
I think Outlaws is more along the types of game he likes than hard as balls Metroidvania.
Good point.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not my game.
Right. Well, that's it. That's all the questions.
Well, and that wraps up episode 543 of Nintendo Dads. Well, thank you for hanging out with us this week. And as we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, and an anonymous Patreon producer, as well as over 100 friends of the show over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Thank you guys so much. As well as our Twitch Prime subscribers, our Twitch followers, our YouTube subscribers. If you're one of those people, heck, if you're just a listener of the show on a regular basis, we love and appreciate you, and we thank you. We couldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We mean that. It's not just something we say to fill time at the end of every show. Be sure to check out our website, nintendodads.org, for a list of our family of podcasts like Retro Logic, and Star Wars Dads, as well as other recommended podcasts like Mega Dads and Dad Crossing. Our latest YouTube videos and tweets, links to all our social media, Patreon and Extra Life pages, and Nintendo Dads merch over there. You can get Jesse on a bedspread if you want to. It's there. Promise. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Manscaped.com, where you can get 15% off your order with the code NINDADS, that's NINDADS. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail. That's 929-25-NINDADS for the NINDAD hotline, 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music we use throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you download us in your favorite podcatcher of choice, if they have reviews or stars or kudos or thumbs up or whatever, give us all of them. Just all of it. I promise. Makes the world a better place, pushes us up the charts, helps people find the show. You're a good person. We get better. We'll scratch your back. You scratch ours. We love it. So for me, for Jesse and Tim, this has been episode 543. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
sending into Nintendo ads.